with Jamie Bowl starts now.
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us here at 7:30. We start this half hour with a debate over free speech in Union County and beyond. For almost 2 years, we have told you about protests on college campuses against the Israel-Hamas war. The most recent and longest war started back on October 7, 2023, when Hamas militants launched a surprise attack on Israel, killing more than 1,200 people and taking 240 hostages. There have been thousands of more deaths since then, mainly on the Palestinian side in Gaza. And in all the protests against Israel, you often hear a common phrase.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free.
It's the beginning of that phrase, from the river to the sea, that has sparked controversy and debate at Marvin Ridge High School and also online. Many people reached out to WBTV with concerns over a student using "from the river to the sea" as her senior quote. Photos of that student's yearbook picture have circulated on social media, with many in the Jewish community demanding the district take action. Just like the conflict in the Middle East, the phrase "from the river to the sea" is seen differently by different groups. According to the American Jewish Committee, the phrase can symbolize Palestinian control over the entire territory of Israel's borders, which lies from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. Many see it as a call to eliminate the state of Israel completely. That's seen as anti-Semitic because Israel is the only Jewish state in the world.
People need to get better educated on this, and people really need to understand what they're saying. But saying "from the river to the sea" essentially means getting rid of Israel, wiping Israel off the map. And as we've seen in the past few weeks, that really means violence, death to Jews.
Jewish historians say the phrase originated from the Palestinian Liberation Organization, the PLO, which was a terrorist group fighting for Palestinian rights. The phrase "from the river to the sea" has also been adopted as the rallying cry of the terrorist group Hamas, which governs the Palestinian people. But some who support a Palestinian state say it means something different to them. For some, it means a call for human rights, hope for an independent state of Palestine, and unity for Palestinians.
Which we know that means things like "from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," "free Palestine," anything that they can do to say that it's pro-Hamas, when in reality we're just we're anti-genocide.
Local Jewish advocates say the phrase does come with nuance.
Now, fighting for Palestinian rights in and of itself there's nothing wrong with that. It's if you are talking about the destruction or the end of the state of Israel, that's when it becomes an anti-Semitic statement.
Now, we did reach out to Marvin Ridge and Union County schools to ask about the yearbook quote last week. Without directly addressing that specific quote following our questions, the school system did release a statement that reads in part, quote, "As soon as our administration was made aware of these concerns, we immediately launched an internal review and responded to individuals who expressed concerns." The statement goes on to say, "We have taken steps to correct this matter, including the halting of yearbook distribution to students in grades 10 through 12. We are also currently reviewing our editorial process to prevent similar situations in the future." Today, they said they do have counselors available for students who need support.